As seen on Kaleidoscope the Series. Kaleidoscope the Series on ABC 23. It's a different look at our region, unique places you may not know exist, unique people sharing their amazing talents. There are good things happening in our area. Watch it all every Sunday on Kaleidoscope the Series on ABC 23. Welcome back. Now let's journey north and get outside to enjoy one of our many beautiful counties in the state, Elk County. By its namesake, that's what we focus on. Our crew headed off to go see the elk for themselves and to learn about these large animals and their deep connection with that region of Pennsylvania.
Elk County got its name after elk. I mean, elk made their last stand here in Elk County. The last eastern elk, which were native elk to Pennsylvania, was killed in Ridgeway about 1867. So the county was named after elk. So the elk we have in Pennsylvania now are the Rocky Mountain elk. The eastern elk subspecies was exterminated 1867. So the elk we have now came from Yellowstone National Park, from the Wind Cave herd in South Dakota, and they were reintroduced into Pennsylvania from 1913 to 1926. There were about 177 Rocky Mountain elk brought into Pennsylvania by railroad car, and you think about that way back in the 1800s, early 1900s, that's a pretty good feat to be able to bring 177 elk across this country and release them here in this part of Pennsylvania. Elk are pretty large. They weigh upwards of 700 to 800 pounds. Some of these animals are going over, some of these large mature bulls are 900 plus pounds. So they're extremely large animals. White-tailed deer, a big white-tailed deer in our state would be 225, 250 pounds. Elk are a pretty good sized animal. They eat about 18 to 20 pounds of food a day. So they're a big animal. It takes a lot of country for them to roam in. They're kind of a wild animal, but you will see animals, elk particularly, around towns. You'll see them if you look at near this village of Benezet. You'll see elk down around town. They are wild animals, but they get used to people in a hurry, more so than a white-tailed deer. But you also keep in mind that white-tailed deer are hunted from October through January, and they get a lot of pressure on them. Elk are hunted for 6 days out of the year, so they don't get that same amount of pressure. So elk become somewhat habituated to people, not tame, but used to people more than a white-tailed deer would be. Elk are similar to a white-tailed deer, but yet they have their differences. From a biological standpoint, the reproductive rate for an elk is much lower than it is for a white-tailed deer. Cows in Pennsylvania are putting a calf on the ground for the first time at 3 years old. So generally speaking, a white-tailed deer as a yearling will have a young at 2 years old. Elk generally have a single calf, where white-tails generally have twins. Hunting elk in Pennsylvania is pretty limited. It's a limited draw. It's a hunt managed by the Pennsylvania Game Commission. What hunters do is they would apply, they would do an application. It's a non-refundable application fee, and then their name would go into a drawing, and then the Game Commission holds that drawing. In fact, that drawing will be held here at the Elk Country Visitor Center on August 15th this year. It's a live drawing, so people can actually come here and see it. And so what happens is your name goes into the barrel, and then the Game Commission selects so many bull hunters and so many cow hunters. It's extremely limited. There's generally 27, 28, 29,000 applicants competing for a little over 100, 110, 120 licenses. So it's highly competitive. Guys like to come in and hunt elk. It is a totally different experience than hunting white-tailed deer. You hunt them totally differently than you would a whitetail. And the meat of an elk is extremely good. Moose, people tend to say moose is the best. I tend to agree with them. Elk probably comes in second. Whitetail would be right next to that, but all depends on your palate. But some people put them in that order. A lot of people do. So when you put an elk on the ground, you've got hundreds of pounds of meat to take home. People come here from all over the United States. People come here from the eastern seaboard because they want to see this animal. It's such a magnificent animal to see, and the habitat it lives in, it attracts people as well. It's just beautiful country. So here in Pennsylvania, we live in an area where the elk live, which is 2 million acres of public land. It's the size of Yellowstone National Park. So to be able to come here and see this animal living in a state with 12 million people, it's pretty phenomenal. People come here to see, and it's driving economic development. So the people coming here, they need food, they need transportation, they need lodging. And so we've created this elk watching and ecotourism industry around elk in our state of Pennsylvania. The Elk Country Visitor Center, located in Benezet, it is a world-class destination. It is a true partnership, a partnership between the Keystone Elk Country Alliance on the private sector side and the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources on the public sector side. So basically what happened was, under the Rendell administration, the Commonwealth injected funds, the private sector injected funds, and we're able to build this visitor center. It is a world-class destination. We've had over 1.1 million people here since we opened September 2010. In 2014, we had over 410,000 people come through our doors here. It is driving economic development in food, transportation, and lodging. Now, when people come here, they want to see an elk. That's first and foremost. They absolutely want to see an elk. So we have on the grounds here viewing areas where we plant high-quality forage to attract elk and other wildlife in there. You'll see everything from deer, bear, turkeys. We've got bobcats. We've got a lot of different animals that people see here, rattlesnakes included, that people get to see when they come here. So we have hiking trails, we have viewing areas that are set up along high-quality forage plots that attract elk. Early morning, late evening are the best times to see elk. In the heat of the summer day, not a good time to see an elk. They move back in the timber and they bed up in the shade where it's nice and cool. It's kind of like air conditioning out here in the wild. The Elk Country Visitor Center is located in Benezet. We're only 30 minutes off of Interstate 80. We're easy to get to. We'd like people to come here and see what Elk Country has to offer. We've got a 4D theater, horse-drawn wagon rides, conservation education programs. Come here and experience Elk Country. To learn more about the Keystone Elk Country Alliance and the Elk Country Visitor Center, we ask folks to get on our website and get a look at our latest programs, our upcoming programs and events. We welcome people to Elk Country and come and see what it has to offer. Here in Elk County, we have a kaleidoscope of Elk Country experiences.